Hi, Facebook,
You're live.
or YouTube, wherever you watch this in the future. You're somewhere. I want to give everybody a couple more minutes to join us, especially those who might be watching. Oh no, World Cup games are over, I think, right now, so I think we're good. Also, I know we've got some folks outside the North American continent that are going to be joining us, so hopefully they remember what 3 o'clock is in terms of time difference. It was 3 Pacific. I realized I only put that out on a couple of platforms. Oops, sorry. Anyway, so as you may have seen in the description, I wanted to talk about a sort of a general concept of coexistence, but how it applies to the worlds of marketing and business. And that was summarized in my head. I go back to this cartoon. I think it was Bizarro. I really should have looked it up before we went live. And what we did was, there was a comic that I remember of dinosaurs staring at the asteroid coming to Earth and just making some comment about it. You know, basically they're going to survive. And it's okay, don't worry about it. Nothing will change. That's not the way the world works. And what happens is, I don't need to stop counting. Anyway, I've got staff around here that are helping me do this. We're trying to go fancy for this Facebook Live. Anyway, so the idea was, in business you can't do that. In business you can't look at massive change and say, well, that's okay, everything will still continue.
Mohammed wants to know, what are you talking about?
Is that Mohammed Johar?
No.
Oh, good. All right. So what we're talking about, as I just said, is coexistence and how it applies to marketing and business. So, again, the comic is what kind of spurred this on, because very often in the world, very often in the world, you get people who they encounter some sort of new business idea or new marketing capability or new ad concept or new social media, new digital technology, whatever it is, that's changing how things happen. And ultimately, unfortunately, what they do is they end up running back to safety. Well, I know this thing is tried and true, and I'm going to stick with that because this other thing hasn't been proven yet. It probably has. The trick is, you need to go through and understand how to incorporate that into the other things that you do. A lot of people today... What?
So your dad says, oh no, the asteroid is coming.
Yes. No, the asteroid already came.
And then Mohammed says he is from another planet.
Yes. So, hi Mohammed, hi David, Dad, whoever else is watching. I'm glad you're all here. So, yes, that asteroid has come, as you just alluded to, and I was referring to. The asteroid has come. That asteroid is most of the technology we've seen in the last 10 to 20 years. Everything from Google, Facebook, and Twitter to Uber and Airbnb, and these technologies that have drastically changed how we do things. For the real estate professionals that may watch this, it's going to be things like drones. So instead of watching a video on basically you with a camera walking around the outside or the inside of a house, you can now drone shot all of that. You can do really amazing aerials, and that makes your product a heck of a lot better visually. So that is the asteroid. The asteroid has already come. The point of my description of this particular video in terms of mammals don't ask dinosaurs on how to survive, the idea is that you can't constantly run back to being a dinosaur. At some point you have to figure out that mammals and dinosaurs coexisted for a long time, and then eventually, when things changed, the mammals had to keep evolving. They kept going, and that's an important lesson that you need to understand in business, but specifically in this case in marketing. In today's world, that asteroid has come. I don't want to spill scotch. That asteroid has come. And with those new technologies, the goal of a marketer today, or a business manager or a business owner, is to understand how to incorporate that into what you do. It's really quite simple. You need to do what your customers are doing. You are not the driving force of this. You are not the person or the company that is dictating how these technologies get used. Your customers are. Follow your customer. You're going to dictate your goals. You're going to dictate your budget to a large degree. But for the most part, when it comes to what do I choose and how do I choose it, and then what do I do with it once I've chosen it, you need to do what your customers are telling you to do. Your customers, whoever that may be, and again, I've talked about how we build customer profiles with very, very deep details in terms of what they do, who they are, what they like, what they don't like. When we build all of that, that's how we then choose media. We don't do it in reverse. We don't say, okay, we have to be on Facebook, because the customer may not be a Facebook user commonly. So you want to be in those places that your customer is. But your customer has a very, very busy day. Your customer could be waking up in the morning, reading a newspaper. Well, the statistics show that most people, when they first wake up, at least in the United States, the first thing we do is one of two things. A, check your email. B, check Facebook. So you go through one of those two things first, then it's going to be a matter of, okay, what else are they doing in their day? So let's say they wake up and they check their email first. Then they're going to probably go on Facebook. Then they're going to maybe read the morning paper. Then they're going to listen to a radio show or a podcast, maybe instead of terrestrial radio. Maybe they're doing a podcast, and they're doing that on the way to work. On the way to work, they're also seeing billboards. They're also, when they get to work, they're also going to be listening to whatever radio station might be playing in the office. They're going to be scanning the internet all day when they're supposed to be working. And yes, all employees do that. They're surfing the internet when they're not supposed to on their phone or on their desktop. But that's another important consideration. What are they using? Are they using desktop devices? Are they using mobile devices? That's part of your decision making. But all of these things coexist because you are trying to be where the customer is. You can't constantly run back to traditional media and think, okay, I know this has worked and this digital stuff doesn't work yet. Yes, it does. You have a question?
Yes.
What's the question?
We have, you mean customer's gesture, or are you talking about customer's enhancement? From Mohammed.
I'm lost. Customer's gesture? Read it again.
You mean customer's gesture, or are you talking about customer's enhancement?
If I understand the question, Mohammed, then I think we're probably talking both. If what you're asking is, are we talking about what do they do versus what makes their experience better? Yes. Is that your question? Clarify it and I can answer it. So I'll keep going while you clarify. You want to make sure that you're using what they're using because, again, they are very busy people and you can't constantly run back to that traditional media and try to say, okay, I know that works. It probably does work. One of the experiences that we have every single day is that somebody tells us, I don't do advertising because it doesn't work. Or I don't do radio because it doesn't work. Or I tried Facebook and it was a waste of money. Or I was on Instagram and I got nothing out of it. All of these media work. I promise you. Every single one of them works. If it's right for your customer and you're doing it correctly. If you're not doing it correctly, no matter how great Facebook is or how great a newspaper is or whatever, if you're doing it wrong, it's user error. What's the clarification?
Mohammed came back and he said gesture is about managing customers and so on.
Then yes. So it is about managing customers because you are trying to utilize what they do, what they use. You are trying to drive them through that to your process, to your sales funnel, to your sales process. So if you understand that your customer is doing, like I said, Facebook in the morning, they're also listening to radio on the way in, they're checking their emails after they finish working at 5, 6 o'clock, whatever it may be, then those are the places you want to be because you're trying to get them through your sales process to line them up with the best product that you offer for their needs. What's the clarification?
No, Ryan Robbins came in and he said best manager ever with a bunch of exclamation points.
Thanks, Ryan. You don't have to kiss up anymore. I love you. So really, it's all about doing the alignment of, okay, I know where my customers are and I'm pretty sure I know what they're using and how they're using it. I need to now craft my message to fit their media. It's not your media. You got to remember, these are not just soapboxes that you get to stand on and yell from. These are about conversations. Even traditional media, radio and television, because you want to start a conversation with those media. You may finish it on something else, but you've got to start those conversations.
David said, your observation is spot on, but as long as the customer perceives that radio is a loser, are you really going to change that perception? Before you answer, Dwayne says, nice glass, #branding. And then Mohammed has come back and he says, there are many customers can't use media because they're just living in poor places. So having such media is probably hard for them.
Everybody has a media of some sort. Everybody. There is some sort of media. Okay, so in that case, let me clarify. If you are talking about what I'm going to very generally refer to as third world, where there's not technology to any great degree, people are not paying for any significant media, in those locations, you are really looking at people who are utilizing media in a different way than what we are accustomed to here in North America and most of Europe. And most of Asia. So what we're looking at in that case is somebody who is probably using a lot of word of mouth. That is just even more valuable, but it's just as valid a media as radio or TV or Facebook or Twitter or anything else. It's just a different type of network that you need to tap into. Your goal at that point is not figuring out how to make the best radio ad. If you are utilizing a community network of referrals and word of mouth and testimonials, you need to figure out how to generate those. You need to incentivize people who have had a positive experience to then go tell their friends. The interesting thing about social media is that empowers you to do it with technology. But that's no different, other than enhancement, that's no different from what's been happening for tens of thousands of years in human society. Well, thousands of years, not tens of thousands, but basically you have a good experience, you go tell your neighbor about it. That's happened long before Facebook, long before Google. So it's a matter of, great, now you know what the media is, it's word of mouth, it's referrals, go generate those, and that's your marketing goal. So it's just a matter of, again, finding out what they use and then how they use it. But these things coexist. Somebody like that probably still reads a paper. They may go to a newsstand and buy it as opposed to having it home delivered, but they're reading a newspaper or they're listening to radio. I mean, radio has been part of the free world for over a century now. It's something that's very ingrained in that if you are delivering a product or service to somebody who does not even have basic access to radio, you're talking a very different marketing strategy, and that's a whole different Facebook Live, which interestingly we would be talking about it on Facebook Live for somebody who can't see Facebook. So isn't the technology great? Anyway, so again, part of your goal is once you understand that media, you need to then explore, you need to learn or hire somebody like us that can help you understand these things and help you implement them in ways that they are effective. The technology is there, the media is there, the customers are certainly there. There's 7.5 billion people on this planet. Just align these things. Do we have any more questions that I need to knock out?
Mohammed did clarify that yes, third world, and then he also said this means good experience plus social network marketing. Or market.
Yes. So the social network, not the title of the movie, but the actual human social network, that really is what starts and is the best form of advertising. It's John telling Jane, hey, I had a great experience. And that's another important point. I didn't intend on bringing it up, but it is important when it comes to marketing. Regardless of the media, you need to deliver a positive experience. There is no real second place anymore. You need to be delivering a great experience that people want to talk about, because most marketing, whether it be traditional media, digital media, or the age-old word-of-mouth referral, it's about experiences. It's what did I do, what was my experience, and how do I go share that with somebody? There's a concept that I discuss a lot when I do public speaking. The concept is the social currency. Social currency was a topic, I'm not sure if he coined the term, but I think he did. Jonah Berger wrote this in his book, Contagious. It's the idea that when you have a positive experience, you want to share that with people because it makes you look good. You generate social currency simply by having a good experience and sharing it with people because it means you made a good decision. The same thing is also true, except for the intelligence part. The same thing is true for bad decisions and bad experiences. You may have bought something, it was a terrible idea, blew up your house, whatever may have happened. In that particular case, you're telling people to avoid your bad decision. That doesn't make you look quite as intelligent. So it's a matter of differentiating how people want to be perceived and the story that they're trying to tell. But if you don't deliver a good experience, those Yelp reviews will show up. So be mindful of that.
Mohammed clarified, he said, yes, that's what I meant.
Thank you.
Dwayne came through and he says, products need to be remarkable. Some purple cow honky, because I'm not going to say that word on Facebook Live. And then Ryan Robbins had a question. He said, let me go up because his question disappeared.
Yes, Dwayne, products absolutely need to be remarketable because somebody else is going to do their remarketing for you. You are 100% correct.
He said, could you explain why companies that make money doesn't feel they need effective marketing.
So that's normally a misunderstanding. We get this all the time, and if I remember correctly, I wrote a blog on this a few years ago, and it does touch on the media mix that I'm describing. It touches on the fact that people have multiple media experiences throughout a day. If companies make a ton of money and they say, well, we're not doing any marketing, of course you are. You made a marketable product. You have business cards, you have a website, you have marketing, I promise. There's no company in existence that doesn't have marketing. Even a company like, I'll take a pop culture example like Tesla. Elon Musk doesn't go around spending millions or billions of dollars on commercials. Google was the same way in the beginning. Google didn't launch its first ad, I think, until like 2013 or something. It was a while ago. But they had already been a very long established company, and they didn't do advertising. Well, guess what? Advertising and marketing aren't always the same thing. What you get is people that are doing media mixes, but it's not paid marketing. So Elon Musk's marketing is a lot of earned media. It's a lot of PR. He's using his personality. He's using his ingenuity. He's using his engineers. He's saying, look at this amazing product I've created. I'm going to go get attention for it. That's marketing. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not better or worse than paid marketing. It just works really well for him because he happens to be a billionaire. If you are a billionaire, you may not have to do a lot of paid marketing. People just want to talk to you. He used what he had to generate marketing. But marketing doesn't always equal paid advertising, and that's the distinction. But I promise you, every company in the world that has generated any sort of revenue has some sort of marketing. Could be business cards, letterhead, envelopes, websites, whatever. Could be a social media platform. I know a guy, in fact, and he and I have had this debate, and he is convinced he's right. He has a website, he has social media, which he uses both personally and professionally. He's got business cards, flyers, 10 by 10 stand-up tent, trade show displays, and then he has the nerve to tell people that he generates a whole ton of business with no marketing. His vehicle is wrapped with his company logo, and he keeps telling people, I don't pay for marketing. Of course you do. It's just not paid ads on radio or TV or Facebook or whatever. You're doing it through other methods, but it is marketing. So yeah, it's a matter of understanding the difference between paid marketing, or paid advertising, earned advertising, and marketing in general, which encompasses things like PR.
Sheila Cannon says hi.
Hi Sheila, thanks for joining.
Dwayne, you referenced a book and Dwayne said, great book.
Oh yes, Contagious. Yeah, for anybody that wants to understand marketing and psychology, Contagious is a great part of that understanding. Really deep knowledge on how people think and how that stimulates action. So good, I'm glad Dwayne read that.
David said companies who are making money aren't wasting money. If they move into marketing programs, they stand to make more money.
Yes, so that goes back to rule number one, which means that basically there should always be a return on investment. So regardless of the kind of media you're doing or marketing you're doing, whether it be earned media or referrals, word of mouth, whatever, you always want to make sure that you are generating some sort of a measurable return on that. Otherwise, chalk it up to a learning experience and do it better next time.
And then Ryan Robbins said, love the perspective.
Thank you, Ryan. All right, so I do appreciate, I know everybody's hopefully finalizing their day, at least here in the States and Canada and Mexico. If you're elsewhere, go get some sleep. But anyways, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you have any other questions, feel free to type them in, and I will answer them after the video. Thanks. Bye.